This morning, if I could give you a title for the message, it would be Back to Basics. Back to Basics. And I think that when we see the things that we have going on in our world today, and we oftentimes emphasize that, but I was talking to my dad this week, with everything that's going on with this virus, and my dad's 60 years old, and he told me, he said, in my entire lifetime, I've never seen anything like this. He said, this is different than Y2K, it's different than when on 2001, September 11th. It's different than anything that he had seen, different than the SARS outbreak and swine flu and all this. It seemed like that we have so many people that are just beginning to panic and kind of wig out over this coronavirus. And he was talking about how he's never seen people so anxious to go out and buy toilet paper before. I mean, it just seems like there's this mass hysteria, this mass panic everywhere. And I guess that as I was thinking about what to preach on, I was trying to contemplate something to address the fear that I'm seeing. And it just seemed like hysteria everywhere. And then I started looking on Facebook and I'm seeing all these Christian individuals. And all these Christian individuals are all panicking. They're all, freaked out over this virus and what's going to happen. And I thought, we as Christians, if our only focus is on what we can do to protect ourselves from the coronavirus, what we can do to protect ourselves from a terroristic threat or from some kind of mass shooting kind of deal, or if all of this is all that we ever focus on and think about, then we totally and absolutely miss the point. Because see, here's the beautiful point about it. You and I were put here for such a time as this. I heard a preacher say one time, and I thought this was pretty interesting. He said, we look to the first century church, and we hold the first century church in such high regard. Because when we look at the first century church, we see all the persecution that they had to endure. We see all the hardship that they went through. And so we put guys like Peter and Paul and James and John and like Augustine and these other guys. We put these guys on a pedestal. And we just think that there's some kind of super Christian. They're so much better than everybody else. And he said, but you know what? Right now, that first century church, he believed, is looking over the rails of heaven to the last century church. And they're holding us up with high regard because we are the church of the final days before Christ returns. I thought that was pretty interesting. Did you ever think about it like that? That you and I, actually, we are here to be God's hands and feet, to be God's light in the midst of a world in chaos. That no matter how bad this pandemic gets, guess what? Jesus is still good. God is still in control. He is awesome. He is wonderful. He is powerful. And you and I have a responsibility to go out and to share that power, that beauty, everything that is wrapped up in Jesus Christ. We have a responsibility to go out and to share that with the world around us.